If something happens that makes you think, whoa, this is different, your brain's going to pay more attention. And I don't mean knocking a Starbucks over across your laptop. I mean, how can I make my sales calls not sound like every other call that exists?
I was victim of a phone call that was clearly listening to your work because the guy called me and said, "Hi, this is a sales call and you can hang up now if you're not interested. But if you are willing to hear me out, I just want 30 seconds." And the fact that they offered me the opportunity to hang up, I for some reason appreciated it. And I gave them the time. And I remember I was like really busy. I was on my way to a podcast recording. And just the fact that he'd gone, "You can hang up now. This, just gonna be honest, this is a sales call."
Yeah, he gave you autonomy.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, what are you selling? Then he told me about some social media software or whatever. But I just thought it was really smart because you're right. Within seconds, I'm trying to figure out if this is like all the others. And I guess we can do the same in our emails. In fact, the CEO and COO of my media company that I hired sent me an email. And the first line of the email, they didn't even, she's listening now, Christiana and Georgie, they didn't even like introduce themselves. They said, like straight to the point, no habituation filter. And it's interesting, it's an interesting opener line because the word habituation filter is something I talk about in my book. So they'd kind of like tickled my ego a little bit as well, I think,
Yeah.
because it says I've read your book. And they went straight to the point. It caught me off guard. And
You got
even
more
this,
focus.
of course, yeah, they have the job now, they work here. So, and even the subject line was like,
Oh, that was their introduction email to you.
yeah, that was the first ever email.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Because I don't think people realize this unless you've been in a situation where you're like working in recruitment, looking at thousands of emails. But when I used to really run the recruitment inbox, because I'm just obsessed with the recruitment, we have 35,000 emails in there. And I'm going through there at speed. And I'm looking for what I would call exclusionary factors and inclusionary factors. What I mean by that is factors to immediately exclude this email.
Yeah.
And factors to immediately include this email within 3 seconds.
To read later.
To read later,
Yeah.
to like star it and to read later, or just to give it another 10 seconds. And the exclusionary factors, they're all just surface things that you typically get from people who typically do a certain thing. And that's also why I think about marketing newsletters. If the newsletter looks designed, the studies show the open rate, the retention rate, the click-through rate is significantly worse if it's a beautifully designed email because people see it as a sales email.
Yeah.
The emails you get every day that are important are not designed.
Yeah.